Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.
Excuse me! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And John, we have with us now one of our hosts. He hosts Full Court Press with Sean Spicer right here on 77 WABC Sundays at 10 a.m. And of course, former White House Press Secretary Sean, it's great to have you on. First of all, what do you make of this change with Pam Bondi?
First of all, I just want to say your last guest, I was so excited to hear that it was something that I worked on very extensively at the RNC, where I tried to show how the Obama campaign had turned off this credit card verification. And your guest was spot on. I'm so glad you guys are covering it. That's why what you and John do every night is so critical, because you're covering stuff no one else will. Before I get to Pam, just let me say this to people. What a lot of, at least the theory is that a lot of Democratic donors get given gift cards, other things that don't have a CVV. So when you buy something, you get asked for your zip code and that CVV. The gift cards don't. So you can create a ton of straw donors. And that's why this is so critical, because they can use those to make tons of donations funneled through stuff. I tried to prove it back in the day. This isn't obviously the forum, but I'm so glad you guys are covering it. With respect to Pam, look, I got to be honest.
That Act Blue, John, that Act Blue was taking in hundreds of millions of dollars in false money.
Sure, because again, you get a donor to give a ton of cash. You just start to assigning people to it, and then let's say that you buy a gift card for $100 or $500, and you make small donations. You probably make them under $2.99, which means you don't have to have the FEC report them, right? So you get to create it, and then what you do is, because you're using a gift card, there's no CVV, there's no credit card, so you get to make essentially potentially thousands, if not millions of dollars of straw donations.
So where does it go now with Pam? Where does it go with Pam Bondi, Sean? Because that's a huge deal with the change now. Of course,
it is. And here's the thing that's fascinating to me. Pam and the president go back a long time. I've got a brand new book coming out called Trump 2.0, which the problem when you write a book right now is that you never know what's going to change. And I talk about the relationship that he has and all the people in Trump 2.0, Pete Hegseth and Lee Zeldin and all these other ones. And one of the points that I made about Pam was he's known her for like 20 some odd years. So I was a little shocked today by this. I get there are some issues and some missteps that have been taken. And I just want your audience to know, like, Pam is a friend. And one of the things that makes doing analysis, when you're talking about Trump 2.0, is a lot of these people I've known for a long time. They're friends of mine. I like them. And so it's difficult to do the analysis sometimes. But clearly the president had become frustrated with both some of the stuff going on in Epstein. And then secondly, I think that it wasn't just the prosecutions of some of these people like Comey and Letitia James, but it was how they were being done. That they would file something and then the judge wouldn't on its merits throw it out, but say, the way you guys went about this, there's a process violation, right? You didn't follow the rules of jurisprudence correctly or legal, however you're supposed to file something, and so I think the president grew frustrated that certain things weren't happening. He does recognize that Trump 2.0 is it, right? There's no reelection, and so he wants to get a lot done. And obviously, he didn't think that Pam was getting enough done. Now, I will say this: if you actually stop and pause, what she's done, you go back and you look at Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr from Trump 1.0, she definitely did a lot more. I give her a lot of credit. I get there were some missteps, but look, I think she moved the ball really far for the America First movement. I know there are some issues that a lot of people feel passionately about that they don't think there was enough done. We'll see who the president now ultimately chooses to take that over.
Yeah, it's really interesting. May we live in interesting times, my friend. May we live in interesting times.
Oh, my gosh.
Sean,
right?
thank you so much for joining us. We've got to have you back on again soon. It was great to have you. Thank you.
Happy Easter to both of you guys.
Happy
Thank you.
Easter, and I'll be listening to you on Sunday at
Sunday morning,
10 o'clock.
Now, John, do you celebrate this weekend or was it next week? I know
I
the
celebrate
Greeks
both of them. But the advantage
I'm sure you do.
The advantage of celebrating the week after, I get all the chocolate bunnies at half price.
Well, I was going to say it's smart for the Greeks. They do it separately. They get all their own stuff. They get a twofer. So I guess that was going to be your answer.
Sean, thanks, Sean, very much. We'll be tuning in on Sundays. Thanks so much.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.